This is part one of my birth story. I really wanted to do this because I was all over TikTok when I was pregnant trying to find good experiences because this is my first one. So I wanted to tell my story because it was a really good experience. It was a vaginal birth, or it was planned to be vaginal, but it turned into a C-section, but it was still a great experience. So to start, we went in on 41 weeks and 1 day to be induced. It was July 4th. We got there at like 4 p.m. I was told by my midwife that we were going to start Cervidil that night, which is to thin your cervix, and then we would start Pitocin the next morning. So we got there and we did 2 rounds of the Cervidil. The first round really didn't do anything. By the second round, things started to move. When I got there, I was 3 centimeters, which was exciting because the last check-in at 40 weeks, I was only 1. So the second one started to kind of move things a little bit. Like I started to kind of feel some things. I was at this point still walking around, bouncing, doing like squats, like trying to get things going. But by the second one, I was feeling a lot more. I was getting back pain, and then that kind of turned into back labor. But while all this was happening, by the second time I had gotten the dose, his heart rate started to like fluctuate. So they were coming in, like all the nurses would like rush in. They were very nervous about his heart rate being, it would like go down really low and then it would come back up. And so he was basically kind of in distress, but they kind of made me think that they were like getting it under control. So they would like put oxygen on me, put me on all fours, move me in all these crazy different positions. And so I knew something like wasn't right at that point. But it was still, they were still so calm about it, the nurses, that like I just was trusting them that like everything was still okay. So because I was only a 3, they wanted to start the Pitocin, which I didn't really understand because, you know, my midwife had told me the Pitocin would be the next day. I was in active labor. I was in pain. So they told me to like walk around the floor to try to get it going if I wasn't going to do the Pitocin right then. So that's what I did. And then that's when it got real. The pain got really intense. And I asked for the epidural. So they came in and administered the epidural. I couldn't sit still for it because I was in so much pain. So they gave me fentanyl, which totally relaxed the pain, or took the edge off, I should say, for about 10 minutes. And they were able to give the epidural. And I will say, you should not be scared of the epidural. It was super, super easy. It might be waking up. Super, super easy, not painful at all. So at that point I had the epidural, my legs were numb, but I could still move, which was really nice. So follow for part 2.